Hey guys, welcome back to a new video on the channel. My name is Jack.F. I'm a freelance videographer, photographer and video editor, producing weekly content helping you take your video editing and videography to that next level. So if that's something you are interested in, stay tuned and subscribe to the channel. Now, this is going to be a very quick video in under 10 minutes. I'm going to teach you the absolute basics of video editing. If you're a complete beginner, this video is for you. I've done a part one to this video, the basics of videography. If you want to check that video out, it'll be up there or there. I don't know if there's going to be mirrored screen effects or not, but the video will be linked up there. So jumping straight into this, I'm going to be using Adobe Premiere Pro as my example, but this will translate to any other software because most of the layouts are the same. Most of the key shortcuts are the same. So jumping straight into this, I'm going to be using Adobe Premiere Pro. Let's go. So first things first, you've launched your program. What you want to do is click your new project or wherever that is on your editing software. You want to choose the location. I'm alright with it being there. You want to name it. I'm just going to leave untitled, and then you want to click create. And then it's going to create it, and then you're probably thinking, oh my god, what is all of this? Don't worry, this is very, very simple once you understand it. So we're going to go box by box from the left, up, down, and then up again. So in the bottom left, this is your import window. What this is where you import, what it's self-explanatory, it's where you import all of your clips. So I've gone out and shot a nightclub last week. So if I want to start my edit, all I'm going to do is go to my files, locate all of my videos, and just drag and drop into there, and it's going to import the files. And now one thing that you want to do is organize your files. So once you've dragged and dropped all of your clips, what you want to do is create a new item, a new bin. What this is basically Adobe Premiere Pro's version of folders. A bin is a folder, so you're going to create a new bin. So let's call this like raw footage. And then within that you can create subfolders and you can organize it from there. So what you want to do is select all of your clips. From here, what you want to do is click the first one, go all the way down to the last one, and then shift and left click. And then once you've done that, you're going to select all of those files that were in between the first one that you selected and the last one you selected. So once you've got all of your clips select, just drag and drop them into the bin, and then obviously you can go through and organize your footage from there. If you double click them, this will bring up to the second part, which is the preview window, the import windows preview window, if that makes any sense. It's a preview window basically. So double click whichever and it will bring up a preview on here. So if we want to go through here, we can just click the space bar and it will start playing the clip. This is not only just a preview window. If we look up here, we've got different stuff. We've got effect controls. Effect controls is very important as well. That will be in the next section, but this is basically for this part it's a preview window. If you go through, you can go through your clips, select them, and then just, you know, if you don't like them, just delete them from the projects. But another good tip is you can click in, I for in, and then say you want to start the clip from here and you want to start the clip over here, you can click O for out, I for in, O for out, and it'll create a bracket. Everything within that bracket will then get dragged. If you drag that onto the timeline, that is what will get dragged on. All this excess stuff here will get left out. So once you've gone through your footage, you've organized it, and you've done your in and out points, you now want to start editing it on a timeline. What we can do from here is we want to go back to our import window. We want to go to new item and we want to click black video. Now what this is basically going to do is going to come up with the video settings. So standard video settings, the aspect ratio is 16:9 on 1920 by 1080. So the width is going to be 1920, and then the height is going to be 1080. You want the time base or the timeline to be 24 frames per second because that's the industry standard, and you want it to be square pixels. So you're going to click OK, drag and drop, and boom, we've now created a timeline. So once you've got your timeline created, we want to come back up to the preview window now, and we want to start dragging and dropping our stuff onto the timeline. As we see here, we've got drag video only and drag audio only. So if you only want the audio track from the video, you can just drag the audio and it will place it on the timeline. But if you want the video, you can just drag the video and there you go. But if you want both, you would just click right here, anywhere within this box here, like above here, just drag it, click and drag, and then you've got both of them. And now you might be thinking, what are these? If that pops up, just click keep existing timeline. You might be wondering here, we've got V1, V2, V3, A1, A2, A3. Basically what these are your channels now in the timeline. So V1 is visuals 1, visual channel 1, V2 visual channel 2, and then A1 audio channel 1, audio 1, audio 2, self-explanatory. These go on forever. You can keep creating different channels. So you might be wondering here, we've got V1, V2, V3, A1, A2, A3. Basically what this is your channels on the editing software now in the timeline. So V1 stands for visual channel 1, V2 visual 2, A1 audio channel 1, A2 audio 2. These are just your channels, so you can drag it down and stuff like that. You can do different layers basically. If you're familiar with Photoshop, you know the different layers. This is basically the video editing equivalent of the layers. But yes, so once you've got it on here, and say you've got a couple more clips on here, and if you want to zoom out, all you've got to do is drag this little bar here and you'll drag it out. So if we want to have another clip right here, say we want to shrink it down to about here, and then we want to have another one here. So we've got some shortcuts now. If we click C, we'll go to the cut tool. In most video editing softwares, the shortcuts are kind of linked to what they stand for. So if you click C, you go to cut. If you go to T, you'll go to trim, the trim tool. If you go to V, you go for select. I know it might be S, but V is kind of the universal standard for select. So we've clicked C, and as we can see, we've got this little razor now. And all that's going to allow us to do is to just cut up our clips on the timeline. And then if we want to go back to our select tool to delete a couple of these clips, all we're going to do is click V, and then the cut tool, the razor, disappears and it comes back to our regular cursor. And then we can just clip and then click delete, the back key, and then we can delete them. But say you've deleted one you didn't want to, it was a mistake, you didn't want to delete it, all you have to do is hit Control Z, and then that's going to undo all of your changes just like that. So that's about it for the timeline. It's the basics of the timeline. What this up here is basically another preview window, but it's the preview window for the timeline. So anything we play here will be shown up here, as you can see. So if we drag, let's say we drag this clip over here, and we hover over here, this is going to show us what's going on, you know, what it's going to look like. There isn't really much to say about this window, apart from that you can change the quality of it. So if your computer is really struggling to play it, you can go from full to half the quality, 1/4 of the quality, and then all the way down to 1/16 of the quality. And if we go down, we will see that the quality dips a lot from the full quality. And then once you've done your edit, all you have to do is come up here up to the left to export, and then it'll bring up the export window. But if you don't want to do that, there's a quicker way. If you hit Control M, it'll bring up the export window. And then all you've got to do, this looks complicated, it's really not. File name, what do you want to call it? Let's just call it wedding video. Wedding video, and then the location, click the location. I'm alright with it being in downloads, boom, done. And then preset, you always want to have it to match source adaptive high bitrate. Always have it on this. And then the format, you always want to have the format for H.264. That's the standard video. It's basically an MP4 but more advanced. It's a higher quality MP4. If you want just an MP3, you can scroll down to MP3, and you've got all of these different different settings. Say you want it to be Blu-ray, you can click H.264 Blu-ray, but you always want to, for standard, you know, clients on YouTube, on TikTok, H.264 is the standard, so click that. And then the second thing you want to come down is click video, and then make sure all of this is ticked, so it's keeping all the settings the same, it's not going to mess with the aspect ratio or anything. Click more, and then all we're going to do is click render a maximum depth. You can read that box if you want, and use maximum render quality. And then once we've done that, all we're going to do is click export, and then it's going to start to encode and export the video, but I don't actually want to export it. And then once the bar is done, all you're going to do is go back to your files and look for it, and it will be there. So that's been the basics of video editing. Again, this is tailored towards Adobe Premiere Pro, but this is a universal, you know, the shortcuts, the way it's laid out is a universal thing with Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Premiere Pro, even iMovie. It's all laid out the same because they want to keep the users, they don't want to complicate the users. If someone wants to switch, they don't want to pick up a whole new program. So all of this stuff is relatively simple, no matter what you're editing on. So that's been the basics of video editing in under 10 minutes. I hope you guys like this video. Check out some of my other videos on the channel. If you want to learn the basics of videography, I did a video last week. It'll be linked up there again. Click the I and it'll take you to that video. That's been it from me on the basics of video editing. So if you like what you see here, subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other videos. Apart from that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.